I chose what I would call the way of the heart to live. Instead of being selfish, I became selfless. And in that love, I gave my life to truth.
If God is not a belief or a religion, then what is God to you in this moment?
If God's not a belief or a religion, then what is God to me in this moment? Is that what the question is? I am God. I am every particle in the universe. I am love. I am this. And this is what you are too. You're just not aware of it, that's all. That's the only difference. Awareness. Awareness aware of itself allows you to know yourself as God. Awareness just aware of the mind allows you to know yourself as an I.
What do you mean when you say God is everything?
Well, you've got to look at the definition of God. The definition of God is that it is everything. It is everything. There's nothing outside of God. Everything is God. That's just a definition of God. And when awareness finds itself in a human being, one of the insights of that is that everything is self. Everything is God. And every particle in the universe is self. It's not an idea. It's what happens when the Satori is deep enough with awareness on awareness. It's not an idea. It's not a thought process. It's the direct experience of knowing yourself as everything.
Why can't the mind understand God?
Mind's too small to understand God. The mind likes to think that it's big, but the mind is actually really small. It's a very average computer. It can't comprehend the enormity of everything. And it also, like the mind measures everything by reference points. And what we truly are has no reference points. God doesn't have any reference points. It's everything.
Is there a connection between God and love?
I can only talk about my own direct experience. In Satori, in deep Satori, I know myself as everything, and I know myself as love. Love being every particle of the universe. But trying to understand that, not possible. Even trying to talk about it, not possible. Because we measure everything with reference points. That's how the mind measures everything. And there are no reference points in what we truly are.
Why do people feel separate from God?
The I feels separate from everything and everyone. It's the nature of the I to feel that way. It sees everything as separate from itself. When the I disappears as a result of enlightenment, that's not the case. Everything is one, and everything is seen as one. Everything is self. But while the I is present, there's a sense of separation. The I is the only obstacle in the way of knowing yourself as truth, really.
How can a person find God for themselves?
It seems to me that awareness, being aware of itself, and a major Satori happening where awareness is aware of itself and there is a knowing of self as the universe, is an accident. It happens when the mind is very relaxed. It's not something that you can actually do. It's a non-doing. It's an accident. I think enlightenment itself is an accident. I don't think it's something you can do either. But you can prepare the ground for the accident to occur. And that is to have a mind that is completely relaxed. A mind that is not shaking its fist at God and saying you got it wrong. In other words, a mind that is not in resistance. A mind that is at peace.
How did you find God as yourself?
After interviewing Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, something opened in my third eye, my crown chakra, my heart chakra. And a year and a half after that interview, 41 minutes, I sat in front of him talking to him. I started experiencing myself as the universe. I started having major satoris. While practicing self-inquiry, walking along a beachfront. Was an accident that was prepared for, but it was still an accident. I think being in the presence of someone who's awake, who's enlightened, is the greatest gift that you can have, because it affords you the opportunity of knowing yourself as truth. Most human beings don't experience that. But I fell in love with my awake teachers, and I spent as much time as I could in their presence, because I knew it was a doorway to my own true self. Anything else, Prema?
No, thank you.
Okay. One of the things that I did, which facilitated everything, was I decided to find heart. And in finding heart, I decided to move into service of other human beings rather than myself. And in that service, I found more and more love, which is the most beautiful thing you can experience. And I chose what I would call the way of the heart to live. Instead of being selfish, I became selfless. And in that love, I gave my life to truth in love.